right, folks, welcome in. Welcome in. This is Great Locker Room, guys. I am Charlie Houston, Big Chuck. I got my man, Sakman, Alex Sackley there, and then Burnsy, Nathan Burns over on the right side of your screen there. If you guys are wondering what we are here to do, it's to complain about the Chicago Bears. It's to complain about the Chicago Cubs. It's to complain about the Bulls, the White Sox, the Blackhawks, any team in the Chicago area. We have been doing radio since we were in college. I am currently doing radio. My guy Nathan has done radio for a while. My guy Sackley did radio in college, like I said. Guys, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited to get this going, boys. We've been getting this cooking for a few weeks now, and it's good to see it finally out in public. So let's get it going.
For sure. And like I was saying before, we're going to get into Chicago sports. That's what we focused on most. That's what we were focused on in college. We're all huge Bears fans. I know at least I'm a huge Cubs fan. Even, again, if they break my heart every year, just like the Bears, just like the Bulls, everybody else. But we wanted to really break down, mostly focus on the Chicago Bears, at least in the beginning of the season here, as they're in the offseason, just finished up that awesome draft, a great free agency period, one of the best in the NFL on both accounts, in my opinion. And then maybe a little bit on, we'll get into some other sports here, get talking about everything. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I'm super excited for the show. Let's get into the Chicago Bears off season first. Let's talk about that draft that happened last Thursday. The Chicago Bears with the number 10 pick take tight end Colston Loveland out of Michigan. Just your initial reactions to that pick, guys.
You know what? Just underwhelming, I would say. I mean, I think most of Chicago, I'd say a good 75% was under the fact that we were going to draft Ashton Genty. We're going to somehow make the trade up to get him. So I think personally for me, no matter who we picked at that pick, I was going to be somewhat disappointed. So put that out there. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, as the draft unfolded, we had pick number 10. The nightmare scenario happened where all the blue chippers were off the board. Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Janty, Will Campbell, and Armand Membu were all off the board. So at that point, I felt we should have traded back and got Simmons out of Ohio State, the left tackle. But we go tight end. And to me, I feel this draft was definitely a weird draft. It was a draft where you needed to do your research. Upon hearing Colston Loveland's name, I immediately thought, why didn't we get Tyler Warren? But as I dug more and more into it, I then realized that Colston Loveland was actually the better tight end out of the two. Warren's the better weapon, the gimmick player, the jack of all trades. Loveland's the better tight end. And then I dove deep into Ben Johnson. He ran two tight end personnel 33% of the time last year, third most in the NFL. So it made sense. And Loveland is described as by multiple scouts as the carbon copy of Sam Laporta. So it makes more sense now.
Well, why did it take so long into that draft process in your mind for a lot of these teams to have Colston Loveland kind of hop that jump over Tyler Warren? A lot of people were still saying Tyler Warren even after the draft was the better of the two tight ends, but the Bears were adamant about it, and a few other teams were pretty adamant about the fact that Colston Loveland was that good. Teams were planning on trading up in front of the Bears to take him, were the rumors. So why did it take until draft night for people to kind of come out with that?
I think it's just because he had the shoulder surgery. He wasn't able to do a lot after the bowl game. He didn't play in the bowl game as a result. Warren had two more games in the playoffs as well. I just think due to that injury, teams were able to see him as much. They just really had to deep dive into the film. And then once they saw it, they liked what they saw.
Yeah, and personally, I feel like it was two completely different offenses. So like for Penn State, they passed four times as much as Michigan did. They
Right.
were a running team, and I think honestly, looking on paper, I think a lot of people stats talk, basically. Stats talk and numbers talk. They always do. So when somebody looks up, his stats, even though, like you said, he was injured, you see 500 yards. And I think right away you've seen Warren, I think he had like 1,250 yards. This was just like, holy,
Yeah.
as a tight end in college, it's like he had double, but it's all about, the prospect, what fits in our offense, like we were saying too. And I am hopeful, I think the big question here is the thing that I've seen the last few days and last week, since the draft is what does this mean for Cole Kmet? Like, is he going to be here? Is he part of the future? What do you guys think for that?
That's tough, man. I mean, Cole Kmet, I think, is a top tight end in the NFL if he's at his best. But the problem is he's not always at his best. And I think last season I was really expecting him to get more involved in the offense, especially with a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. That's always what I'm looking for, is that tight end to be that true safety net for a guy like Caleb Williams. A lot of the times I didn't feel like Cole Kmet was there to do that for this team. And then they also signed Gerald Everett, who was supposed to be that second option at that tight end, to kind of give a little bit of help to Cole Kmet. And Gerald Everett sucked ass too.
They used him as a fullback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was more effective there.
He had 2 catches the first game, and then I don't think he had another catch this whole season. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, and I think
just feel so much more confident this year now that we don't have, Shane Waldron and Eberflus. Like, Chuck, you remember this. Their relegation, they might be borderline execution.
Well, we're going to have to bring that back. Sackley has levels of damnation that he has for certain people in sports. So it's like relegation is the first. If you piss him off enough, you get put in relegation. If you get piss him off even more, is it execution then? And then damnation after execution? Yeah.
And then after that, it's damnation. And then after that, it's just, I just don't talk about you.
Well, guys, I have a funny story. So I don't know if I told you guys. So this season, I was working for the Bears for a little bit, like for so it was like their fan services. And so I worked I worked a couple of the training camps. And like, so I was there, and my interview, I was at Hallis Hall. This was insane. And this was probably, I don't know, a week after the draft, like after we picked Caleb last year. And I'm walking and I'm just waiting in Hallis Hall, waiting for them to come get me. And this door opens and it's Caleb Williams. Like, like, not even joking you, probably like 15 feet in front of me. And we just
I would have
kind of
came in my pants.
Dude,
did you say something?
I'm telling you.
Did you just stand there in silence?
Well, no, I didn't stand. So like there was literally like me and 15 other guys interviewing. Like so it was just like us standing in the room, and I kind of like looked at him and we locked eyes, and I was like gave him like the what's up. Like, well, not much more I could do than that, but
did he give you the what's up back?
He did, man. And he was like right there though. I was like, this guy is the guy. I'm like, he's gonna be awesome. And but you know what's funny? Like, what another thing with this story is, we had during the whole orientation process, this was at the beginning of the season, like right before the first week. And Bears had a hype with Caleb and at Rome, everybody. And they showed a video of Matt Eberflus. And this is to like the whole Bears, all the staff. Like, there's like 300 of us in this audit. It was like, I think it's in the Walter Payton Center, they call it.
Right.
There's like 300 of us in there. And they show this video of Eberflus. And the person that introduces the video, they're like, yeah. And they're like, we had to get this updated video for his new cool haircut. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, who cares about his fucking haircut? You know what I mean?
They gave him like a whole 10
that
minutes
was the worst.
His wife hyping up his hair.
Dude, I mean, that was his highlight of the year, was his haircut.
Right.
Like, because like, honestly, that was it. Like, and speaking of though, I cannot wait. I don't know. I know the schedule's not out. I cannot wait till the Bears play the Cowboys this year. Like, mark your calendars, boys. Oh my God.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's
if
go
you don't
back.
Put up like 80 points, I swear.
Oh, you gotta. Let's go back to this draft class. We were talking about Colson Loveland, the number 10 pick there for the Chicago Bears at tight end out of Michigan. I want to go to their next pick in the draft, though, where they took what a lot of people thought could be the consensus number 1 overall wide receiver in this draft in Luther Burden III. He's a phenomenal wide receiver out of Missouri, but didn't really live up to the standards that were expected for him in the beginning of the season. That's why he fell all the way to the second round for the Chicago Bears. How are you feeling about that pick? Is that a guy that you feel like can be effective right away for this offense, even in a semi-loaded wide receiver room?
I feel static. I mean, Luther Burden was like damn near the number 1 player coming in from high school. He performed great his first 2 years. This year, they had some quarterback injuries. Brady Cook was in and out. Or they had Drew Pine, which is Drew Pine. That's all you need to say. They didn't really utilize him to his full ability, so I feel great about that. I think he's better than Tetchanoa McMillan. He's motivated. I mean, he was like working out at like midnight after he didn't get picked in the first round.
I like that.
I'm ready. And also, side note, I never want to fucking hear a Green Bay Packers fan talk about wide receivers ever again. They picked Matthew Golden over Luther Burden.
Awful.
Matthew Golden can only run fast if he's just going in a straight line. It's the only thing that guy can do.
Was definitely shocked with that, and I'm with you, man. I'm with you, Alex. I think it's going to be he was a great pick. Like definitely should have been, was a steal for where we got him. My only concern, and I guess, and it's not really concern. Here's the thing: if the Bears win, there's no concerns. It doesn't matter what stats. Like if Caleb threw for 50 yards and we won, it doesn't matter. They won. If they're winning, right? But it is going to be a point where I'm a little worried that there's going to be too many chefs in the kitchen because I remember having that same like thought last year when and I love Rome. Like I wanted them to pick Rome, but I was still a little worried because I'm like, man, he's not going to get as many targets with DJ, Komet, Keenan Allen. And now it's kind of the same thing. We go back to it's like, we got DJ, who's, our number one undisputed.
Right.
And then,
Easily.
Rome, Luther, and then that dude they signed from what's his name? The receiver from the Commanders. I always forget his name.
Nowadays, Zacchaeus.
You got it. You got it. And I was gonna botch that. So thank you for that, dude.
I'm gonna botch it all season. All season, dude.
But four guys right there. Then you got Colston, you got Komet, that's six, Swift seven. And it's a lot. So I mean it's always good for depth. But I just hope that they can use, Ben Johnson can use them all right away. And hopefully these guys don't get on their head where it's like, I'm not getting the ball as much because I feel like this is the one thing to expect that it's not going to be a consistent thing. Like with the Lions, like some guy might go off one week, some guy might go off the next. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be pretty solid. I really love that pick.
You brought up DeAndre Swift. Why didn't the Bears really attack running back in this draft at all? Do you feel like DeAndre Swift is first of all, I hate him. He's one of the most infuriating running backs I've ever watched play football in my entire life.
We got sniped every
Yeah.
round.
It's Paul's
That's what
got outclassed because he tried to trade up, couldn't do it. Then the pick, they tried to get the dude from OSU, got picked the pick before him. I've seen this guy tweet about
Same
it.
with
Like
Henderson.
literally, yeah, you got it, Henderson, and like literally it happened 3 times where the Bears traded down, and like a pick or two right before them was a running back, and then they had traded
Right.
down. And it's like, okay, yeah, like you wait to the 7th round, and then they try to hype. I like all these Bear fans are trying to hype up this guy, and he might be good, but I'm just saying he was a 7th round pick for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I feel like for a run heavy team, like yeah, we got a lot of receivers, but the Bears have always been built. Like if you got a good run game, like run down people's throats.
Right.
And I don't know, Swift isn't that guy to do it for me. And I feel like when he's making 8 million a season, when Saquon's making like what 12, like it's just like, oh my God, like I don't know. It's yeah.
Swift to
What
me
would
is a
it
very
have taken-
polarizing figure.
Right.
Well, to me, like everyone kind of hates on Swift, but like to me last year, I thought he was our best offensive skill position player. Like week in and week out, that dude brought it. He's breaking tackle. Like his running style is not great for having a poverty ass offensive line. And then we had a rookie quarterback, and it's just like, well, what did you really want from him? Like he performed in the passing game. He broke off a lot of long runs when we gave him holes. I mean, if you look back at that 3-game win streak, the dude was dominating. The dude was like a top in terms of just like stats and fantasy football. The guy was like top 5 for 3 straight weeks. The 3 weeks we actually looked like an NFL team on offense.
Yeah.
So like he's not great, but like I think he's actually pretty good.
See, here's the thing, dude. I'm 100% like with you. I'm not like saying like it was not our offensive line was dog shit, and we had the worst coach in football, like and a rookie quarterback. So like I'm with you on that. But I also like with me wanting like campaigning so hard for Genty or somebody else, like that was assuming like Swift was gonna be there too. Like he'll stay
Right.
here
Yeah.
and like be our second dude receiving back. Like I don't know, or the guy to break the hole, like you said, and break the 70-yard run. Because that was the one thing about the Bears, like the last 8 years, even before Swift, it's like they did not have a fast running back to like that would break a 60-yard run. Like you guys have no idea like how many runs we've seen Jordan Howard like run 45 yards and get caught
God.
up and run it. Jeremy Langford, like
Jeremy
Montgomery,
Langford. Disgusting.
like these guys.
The only guy
were
we ever had that could do that was Tariq Cohen, but that didn't last very
But
long.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and it's like so Swift to see a guy to be able to do that was it was a breath of fresh air, but it's like, I feel like he is not the guy, like, he's not a guy to get 20 carries a game. Like, I just don't think he is because like he can maybe a few games, but he's gonna get hurt. Like he's too small. Like, and it's just like I don't know. Like I feel like he's gonna get lit up. Like if they use him like dominantly this season, and it worries me because I don't believe. I mean, really, I'm a Bears believer more than anybody, but I'm not a Roshan guy. Like, I don't think he's an NFL player. Like, every time he had the ball, like, he would never break a play. Like, yeah, maybe it's 6 yards. Like, be like, yeah, it was an awesome run. But it's like, he never made like a play where I was like, holy shit, like, this dude's gonna be awesome. Like,
I
and
mean,
he had a few opportunities. So it's like, I don't know. Like, that part, the running game does worry me for the Bears this season.
I would just rather give Roshan Johnson a chance. I think my big problem with DeAndre Swift, I just have this grudge against him because he was that first running back signed out of that free agent class last year. And it was really
It's the
frustrating
first
because there was a lot
player.
of other better options. There's fucking Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry are sitting right there for you to take. And they are going to be only mildly more expensive than a guy like DeAndre Swift, but yet you're wasting your money on that. It just felt like another Ryan Poles, like you're talking about the masterclass in the draft. He goes out and he just constantly gets players that are good players, but they don't help the team in the positions that you need. TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds are awesome players. Tremaine Edmonds, maybe not anymore. TJ Edwards is an awesome player.
Yeah,
But at the
yeah.
same time, they didn't fucking need to spend money on middle linebacker. And if they did, they had Roquan Smith sitting right there, which they could have just paid him the same money that they paid both of those guys combined. It didn't make any
No.
sense.
Who
And
is
then
the
you go
best
and get
prime
a DeAndre Swift.
linebacker? Yeah.
Right. You go and get a DeAndre Swift, and when you could get better options, I would just rather give your fourth round pick the chance in Roshan Johnson than a guy like DeAndre Swift because he's just not worth what you're paying him. It's a lot like I talk about the Milwaukee Bucks a lot on my normal day job, and Chris Middleton. This was the same issue. Is he's a good player, he can be a good player, but he's getting overpaid, and it just makes people hate that player more because they're getting overpaid.
No, I totally get that. I think like the one thing is I truly do think Swift as like a running back system, like by committee, like A and B, like two guys, like he shared. I think he would be amazing. Like I truly do. Like if we had That's why I wanted Genti so bad. I was picturing like the Lions, like Gibbs and
Right.
Monty. Like that's how you build an awesome running game. Like you have a bruiser and then you have a guy that can break a 70-yard run, like we said. And it's like if one of those things, like, because here's the thing, if Swift goes down week one and it is Roshan, and say, if Roshan, I'm hopeful. Like if he does good, awesome. But what if he doesn't? Like, what are they gonna do? They have nobody. They traded Herbert, like, which I was really like, I don't know. Herbert was awesome the 2 years like we played
I
him.
didn't like
So
Herbert that much, man. I don't
really,
know. Yeah,
really,
he just
okay.
didn't
Honestly,
excite me that much.
honestly, I know I'm gonna sound like a homer right now, but the dude we picked in the 7th round is a fucking dog. Like Rutgers
The
O line,
oh the right the
fucking
Rutgers guy.
like their O line's a fucking tragedy. Their quarterback play, like you're better off with the Elsa kid on there. Like he's the guy that replaced Isaiah Pacheco, and my
Yeah.
Oh, is
view
that
is
where he?
he,
Okay, yeah, okay.
he's
All right.
better than Isaiah Pacheco. You look at him, you look at Janny, they have the exact same measurables. Both are 5'8", 205. They weight room, they're about the same. The only thing Janty has on him is he's a little faster.
Right.
I know I sound like a homer, but I think this if Kyle Monangai was at Iowa or Wisconsin or other Big Ten team, he's like a 3rd round pick. I think this guy's a dog. I think he's
Okay.
better than Roshan, to be honest. Roshan, I've always liked Roshan whenever we give him an opportunity, he's performed, but he's just not special. Like he doesn't really do anything that great. He's physical, but he's not that physical. He's not that fast. He'll break some tackles, but he's like your steady 4 yards of cloud of dust. I'm not going to fumble it. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to pass pro and catch the ball when given to me. But he's nothing special. Monangai, I mean, I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowl running back, but I think he could be the next Isaiah Pacheco.
Well,
Which
you
is
definitely made
it's
me
good
feel a
enough.
lot better about him. Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Because the
honestly,
same thing
like,
happened with Pacheco when he was at Rutgers. The O-line was just bad. That guy only
right.
averaged 3.8 yards a carry in college, Pacheco. Monangai averaged like 4.5 behind the same
Yeah.
O-line and even worse quarterback play. They had Gavin Wimsatt in 2023. dude was like Caleb Haney, but like with like half a brain cell.
Well, I will
Like there were
say
some
this though.
games where he'd complete 6 passes in the game, and just he was a running quarterback. So like, and then you're going up against like Iowa's defense, Wisconsin's defense, those Michigan, and like he was still getting like hard earned yards. Like I think Monangai, low key, like I think he'll easily be our second string back this year if we don't add anyone.
Well, I definitely don't want them. Have you guys heard about Nick Chubb? Because like
Yeah.
I used Nick Chubb was I used to think like Nick Chubb was probably the best running back in the league. Like he was at one point, I think.
I
And
think he
and
still can be. I still
I think
we've seen him do this before, where he came back in college when he busted his knee into oblivion. The first year he was back, it wasn't that great, and then the next year, he's a second round pick. I think Cleveland's O line was dog shit in 2024, similar to us. I think like if you give him another full off season rehab, obviously I don't think he'll be first team All Pro like he was before the injury, but I think he could easily regain his Pro Bowl form. It's
I
just
just
Nick Chubb.
I think of
Like I
David
saw a video of
Johnson
him
though.
jumping the other day, and he hit his head on the ceiling.
That's
yeah,
pretty nuts.
that's
I don't.
awesome.
I think of David Johnson. And I think of a lot of other running backs that have these big time injuries, especially later in their careers. It's different for a guy like J.K. Dobbins because he got hurt so early in his career. I think he still has a little time to get healthy and still get right. A guy like Nick Chubb has this certain running style that he's gotten used to throughout his first half of his career here, and tearing your ACL, tearing something that major changes the way that you play. And for somebody to change their style of play that late in their career, it's the old saying, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. It's going to be a lot harder for him to come back. I just don't have that same kind of confidence in a guy like that.
Yeah, I just think like I think too like no, you seen him last year. I don't think he should have played last year at all. I think that was stupid by the Browns. And honestly, if that was him really pushing it, like I
Right.
don't know. I think he should have really just held out with how shit the Browns were last season. But I don't know. Like there wasn't one run. I don't know. He might have broke off one or two, but like it seemed like every game it was like, okay, he was averaging like maybe 3.5 yards a carry. Like it was like the stat line I would commonly see was like 10 carries for like 40 yards, which is like that, that is good, but it's just like it's not like I don't know, like it's not like what he used to be. You know what I mean? Like Nick Chubb, I feel like would break a 20-yard run like every other drive. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy. But the for the leadership standpoint, it might be good. I don't know.
I think you take it for the leadership, like you're talking about, maybe just because DJ Moore hasn't been a fucking leader a single second that he's been in Chicago. DeAndre Swift is more of a quiet guy, but he has taken on a little bit more of a leadership role in other situations that he's been in. I think you really have to look at the defense to be those leaders. I think Jalen Johnson has to be a leader for this entire team. This offense just doesn't have that. Your offensive line is so young. You lose a guy like Cody Whitehair last season and the last offseason, and that was your leader on this team. Caleb Williams, I think, if on offense, if anybody is going to have to be the guy that steps up as a leader pretty early on in his career, it's just
He
going to be
had
hard
to
to
last
convince.
year.
Right, but
Yeah.
people didn't believe in him as a leader. I think he has to convince people with his play as well as his mouth that he can be that type of leader.
I think too, though, like I truly think, and I'm trying to be a homer here, but it's impossible. Like he could be the greatest quarterback. Like he might be. Who knows? But it's impossible when you have a dumbass running the ship. Like literally, like the stories that have came out this offseason of how Eberflus and him interacted. It's like, dude, how I'm shocked how good Caleb did. Like with that, how he had no help. It was literally you're supposed to go in your rookie year, and everyone talked about, oh, Caleb's got the best situation
Right,
ever coming in. No, the fuck he didn't. He had the worst head coach probably we've ever had. Like, and we've had some shit head coaches.
right.
John Fox, piece of shit. Mark Trestman, piece of shit. Matt Nagy, piece of shit. And
Matt Nagy is the
somehow,
biggest piece of shit on the face of the
but,
earth,
but
dude.
dude,
He made
somehow
Nagy look good.
That's
that's what
true.
I that's what I'm saying. He made Nagy look like a fucking genius. And it's like, oh my God. So when you got that dude, like a cancer like that, like I'm not trying to be so harsh, but a cancer to the team and locker room, it's hard to rally behind any of the leaders because it's like, yeah, okay, we might listen to you, but we know dumbass is going to lead us into a sinking ship. So they're not going to make the playoff. You know, it's hard to follow a leader when you know they're not going to go anywhere, you know? But now that they actually have somebody, they, for the first time ever, like, guys, this was the most important thing, I think. Eberflus was the highest paid coach in Bears history. Like,
Mhm.
that was crazy. And he was four.
It's
Yeah, I
so
don't know if you guys
sad.
know that. The most
That's
people
so
don't know
sad.
that. Most people don't know that. He had made, I believe, $4.5 million a year, which is like, okay, like, yeah, that's fine. This guy, Ben Johnson's making 13 million a year. Like, so they coughed up the money. This was the first time the Bears put their foot down and said, enough is enough. We're fucking paying a guy. Like, and that's the difference. Like 3 mil to 13. You know what
I
I mean?
think that also means he has super high expectations compared to any of the other past coaches, though, at the same time. I know Matt Nagy had pretty high expectations because he was supposed to be that offensive mastermind before Ben Johnson coming in to kind of help. He was running it in Kansas City. He was the guy behind it all for Andy Reid, apparently. And he comes in and he does do well for his season, but then after that, he gets stale. The things that he was doing, people figured out, and he didn't know how to change that. I want to see Ben Johnson do it for 2 or 3 seasons before I say that he's worth 13.5 million. Honestly, I think he has to figure it out for 2 straight seasons right away, or this Bears team is going to have to move on. I know you paid him a lot of money, but that comes with extra expectations too.
No, see, I agree with that, but the thing that makes me or like feel better about it is that yes, you're right. Like the ones before we paid nowhere near it, but nobody else was gunning for those guys. Like there were so many, like they were like they hired Eberflus, like they didn't think anybody were gonna hire him. Like nobody were going for these guys. Mark Trestman out of the CFL, like these guys were nobodies. And it's like Ben Johnson, every single the Raiders, Jacksonville, these guys were going all in on him. Like they wanted him just as bad. And I seen a thing that Jacksonville had offered him like 15 mil a year. And he turned it down for the Bears. Like, and it's like, it's just good looks. Like, it's like, even if, like, God forbid, knock on wood, but even if Ben Johnson sucks, it feels good for once that they coughed up the money and got the guy everybody wanted. You know what I mean? Like, it's different this time. Like, if he sucks, then that's not the McCaskey's fault. They coughed up the money. Like, they did what everybody had been bitching about,
Well,
myself
I'm still going
included.
to blame the McCaskies. First off, fuck the McCaskies.
Honestly,
Well,
the
yeah,
McCaskies,
yeah.
like, I look at the Eberflus situation. McCaskies, like, we're definitely at Epstein's Island or some shit. How else do you get, like, blackmailed into giving, like, Matty Eberflus, Shane Waldron, Luke Getzey, like, Tressman? Like, this is the first time we've ever hired a guy where I was like, well, why the fuck did we hire him? Like,
Right.
because before we let go of Lovey, okay, I wanted to jump off a building. Then we hired Tressman. Tressman hadn't coached in the NFL in like 12 years. He was in Canada. His quarterback
Yep.
was like 5'9" and Mexican. What are we doing? And then that goes terribly. We become the most toxic organization in the NFL, the worst culture in the NFL. And we hired John Fox out of the nursing home. And to be honest, I felt
It's
bad for
horrible.
John Fox because, like, his team was just dog shit for 3 straight years. Like, what was Ryan Pace doing for 3 years? He didn't add any talent other than Akeem Hicks and Eddie Jackson in 3 years. That's the only two decent players he acquired, other than like Whitehair and Howard.
Eddie
He
Right.
traded the
Goldman,
next
dude, I
year.
loved Eddie Goldman until
Yeah,
he
but
died or something. I don't know what happened to
Eddie
him.
Jackson was good about he was really good about till the day he signed the pen to paper to the
Uh,
contract, and then he turned the biggest piece of shit. And I was like,
Then he had
what?
that like rebound season in 2022, but it didn't matter because we were so dog shit.
Yeah,
Then
because
he
we were
like
so
broke his
shit,
leg.
right?
That was the
it's
worst.
like
Like
great
that
things, Eddie.
2022 roster
Yeah.
is by far the worst fucking team I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I
No, dude, they
still
were
don't know how we won 3 games. Like, I remember we did the radio show after they beat the 49ers. And I was like,
Oh my
yo,
god,
we're making the playoffs.
oh shit, that's right. We did beat the four.
they
Started
did
out
the
4-0.
sliding in
I
the
was
rain.
like,
Justin Fields,
Yes,
yep.
that was pretty
I was like,
cool.
Chuck,
Yeah.
like, we're gonna be the little engine that could make playoffs.
And then
Tom
they
Robb,
were,
rookie of the year.
and then
Dude.
immediately turned into Justin Fields, run around, buddy. You got it. That's the whole game plan.
Basically, hey Justin. Hey, basically Ryan Poles said, yeah, fuck you, Justin. I don't like you. I want to destroy your career. So just run around and, like,
Yeah.
we'll give you Equiminius St. Brown.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
call him
yeah.
Thanks.
STD St. Brown because his first name sounds like STD. We had Dante Pettis, and then we had
Dude,
Velus Jones Jr., the biggest
dude, it,
crim.
it it's a it was a fucking joke, and it's like, and the Steelers did the same. It was a disgrace what the Steelers did to Fields this season. Like everyone's like, oh well, no, like Russell Wilson, no bullshit. Fields started out 4-0,
Mhm.
then he gets benched, and I understand that that was the plan, but still, when you're riding a guy that's hot like that, it's like don't bench him if they're winning, and it's you bench him, and then the only times you bring him in for the whole season is for him to get beat up and get fucked up. Like they know he's running the ball. Like, oh,
Yeah, they
Fields is
ran a
in.
zone read into Miles Garrett. He just like,
Right, right. Oh, oh, it's 3rd and 4. Fields is in. I wonder what they're gonna do. Like it's bullshit. Like he was there to get fucked up and then take out here. Russell come back in. Like, and I'm so glad like he got paid. I hope Fields. See, here's the thing. Like Caleb 100 times over Fields. Like
yeah.
Caleb's the man. Like hands down. But I love Fields too, and I think Fields could be really good. Like, so I'm excited to see him with New York this year.
So you had brought up Caleb Williams and talking about how you would much rather have him over Justin Fields. Nate, you were talking about before we got on recording here that you wanted to kind of get into people that cornerstones, people that you would want to build your franchise around. The Chicago Bears have Caleb Williams right now at that starting quarterback position. Is he by far your number one guy to build around right now, or would you have other options over him if you were to rebuild this team from scratch and get to choose one of those fantasy draft Madden type stuff?
Hands down, I know this probably sounds homerish, but like hands down, I'd go Caleb number one, and then number two, I'd go CJ Stroud. Like that, those are the two I'd start
Even
with.
after the sophomore slump season, everybody's a little worried about.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like I have like no worry with it. Like I think Stroud's gonna ball, and him and Collins, I think are one of the best receiver QB duos. Like, dude, those guys are so like their chem is
Well, and
insane.
then you add Higgins and Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. That's
Right.
a great. You bring them both in. Why not? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
wide receiver, but they didn't add to the offensive line, and that was one of the biggest issues with Caleb Williams and this Bears team last season. And I
Yeah.
hate that so many people are like, "Oh, Caleb Williams was awful last year because he got sacked so many times." He still had 3,500 yards and 25 total touchdowns compared to like 8 interceptions. What, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
These guys are nuts, man.
Like I've just never seen media coverage like the way they do with Caleb. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just truly puzzling to me. I'm like the guy broke every single Chicago Bears rookie passing record. Basically had the
Dude,
best passing season in franchise history other than Eric Kramer. He had 3 different play callers, 2 different head coaches, the worst O line in the league, and like
yeah.
he played in the best division in football. And it's like they're just like shitting on him. I'm like, do you not
Dude,
see what's going on? Do you not care? Like,
that's typical
it,
Chicago media for you. Like they always bitch and they always hate on the players where it's like, okay, what the fuck? But the thing that was pissing me off the most this season with that in the media was the fact that how people were talking about Jaden Daniels. Like he was the
okay,
second coming. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, stop. Like he had Dan Quinn, a stable coach, a great team around him. Like, stop. Like, there is not even a percentage of me that wishes, man, what if we took Jaden over not even percent. Because Jaden's gonna get hurt next year or the year after. He just that game, you can't run for 1,000 yards and not get hurt eventually. Like it's gonna happen. Like, and I know Lamar has kind of been like he's been really good with that. Like he's proven my point wrong right there. But most guys aren't Lamar, you know what I mean? Like guys are gonna get injured getting hurt or running like that. Like which is the one flaw I have with Fields. Like I didn't like him running all the time when he was with the Bears because I'm like, he was awesome at it. But it's like, dude, you're gonna get fucked up one play, you know? And it's like
Exactly.
that's it's not worth it.
all
Well,
he
and I
does
think
is throw
there's
screen passes.
that's
Like
it, and it works. I mean, when you have
they
Austin
threw more
Eckler, why not?
screens than anyone in the league. If you make him have to go to his second read and he has to throw the ball more than 15 yards down the field, I didn't see one wow throw the entire year other than like the Bengals game because it was the
Yes.
Bengals defense. Like he does nothing that impresses me. Like I just don't like. I think he's good, but like he's not even in the same stratosphere as Caleb Williams as a passer.
That's
Well,
how
I
I
think
feel, dude. 100%.
there's something to this of where you excel so much too early. And I think that kind of hurts a lot of young quarterbacks in the long run because they get so much success early on, and then they have to figure out how to take a step onto that. It's hard to build onto the season that Jane Daniels just had, but it's also going to be hard to replicate that for him. I mean, he's going to have these high expectations, and the moment he gets shit hits the fan for this team this season, at some point there's going to be a 2-week stretch at least for Washington where they're not going to look that good. He's going to have to figure it out, and he's going to have to reset himself. Caleb Williams has gone through this kind of rough season first. Yeah. Jordan Love for the Packers sat on the bench for 18 seasons before he even got a chance to go out there. And you look at a lot of these young quarterbacks. You were talking about Lamar Jackson before. He had to sit on the bench behind an 87-year-old Joe Flacco who could barely throw the ball anymore. And then when he did get to come in at the beginning of the season, yes, he balled out right away, but he took those lumps before. I think some guys need that. I don't know if Jayden Daniels is going to be the same way, but I would not be surprised if he takes a step back and Caleb Williams takes a big step forward next season.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of that class, though, what were your guys?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
You guys there?
Yeah, we're here. You're there?
Sorry,
Oh, good.
I don't know what happened right there.
What were you saying? I'm talking about the draft class with Caleb.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Hold up, boys. You guys talk. I'm trying to fix it. I can't hear you guys right now. Hold up.
Exactly. If you had your choice, is Caleb Williams automatically your first choice? Like, Patrick Mahomes is still there. We're talking about Lamar Jackson.
I mean, other than
those guys older.
I'm taking Caleb Williams over anyone except Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson as of right now.
Okay. Josh Allen. You wouldn't take him over Josh Allen? I know Josh Allen just won the MVP, right?
But not right now. No.
Josh Allen. I don't know.
Josh Allen had Uber drivers as receivers this year and make playoffs.
Yes, but also I think we don't give enough credit to his coaching staff as well. That's one of these things that I think with the Buffalo Bills, especially, people just look at that roster and they look at how good Josh Allen can be. I don't think they give enough credit to what that team is able to do with the creative offenses that they run. I think part of the reason Josh Allen played so well last season because the turnovers were managed a little bit more than usual. I think that has a lot to do with the way that they were running the ball. James Cook has this season where he breaks out a lot for this team. Khalil Shakir is running a lot of these underneath routes and these dig routes that work out really well for this team. Keon Coleman is running routes that are a little bit shorter than he was ever running at Florida State there. And I think that to some degree helps him out a lot more than people give credit for to that roster. And when I look at a guy like Caleb Williams, what he did last season, and again, it was phenomenal for what a rookie quarterback was given in that situation. Awful offensive line. The wide receivers aren't really in the game half the season. They're not really feeling it, or whatever DJ Moore's problem was, or Keenan Allen being 800 pounds in the season. He doesn't have that. And Caleb Williams still goes out there and has a phenomenal season. I think if you give Caleb Williams the experience and the time to grow like a Josh Allen did, and you put him in that same situation, I think he could match those numbers to a Josh Allen. Maybe not the rushing touchdown numbers, but I think sometimes Caleb Williams could probably be more mobile than Josh Allen. He's not as strong. He's not going to run through guys.
He's definitely more agile.
But he's going to get those types of carries. I think Caleb Williams, you put him in that situation 7 years into his career too, he can be just as good.
One thing I am very interested to see with Ben Johnson calling plays for the Bears is how he uses Caleb Williams' mobility, because obviously that's not something he was able to do in Detroit with Jared Goff, obviously. So that
Jared Goff wasn't a track star, dude?
Jared Goff is like, say I like smack him on the thigh, handicap parking pass.
That's how his DraftKings over under rushing yards was always like 1.5. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really.
I'm very interested to see what he's going to do with that. It should be quite interesting. But with Caleb, I know he can do it. I just got to see him do it. As soon as he does it, I'll put him above those guys. But I need to see him do it.
That's fair. I think
he's got potential, but potential means my old friend Coach Marston said, "You got potential. That means you ain't done shit yet."
And I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna definitely use that. I like that.
Bro's added it to his rotation there.
Oh, I did.
You can
man.
be
That's
good,
on
but
my
you ain't done shit
now.
yet.
Yep.
So if we're talking about non-quarterbacks, guys that you would potentially want to start a roster over with. What are some of those players? Is there anybody on the Bears that you would look at potentially to start a roster with?
Are we including like age? Is age a factor, or are they all like the same?
I,
I would say
yeah,
so, right?
yeah. Age
Yeah.
age is a factor. Yep.
Yeah, there's no one on the Bears.
Yeah, I think you gotta look at like Justin Jefferson. I mean, if you're going like it depends because I know he just got drafted and we don't know what he's gonna do yet, but a guy like Genti, like if this guy's is half as good as they think gonna be like a stud running back or Saquon, I feel like having a important guy like that. But at the same time, he's only as good as the offensive line because as we've
Right.
seen with the Giants. So what do you guys think though? I mean, a lot of defensive guys too.
I think that's where I'm looking a little bit more. I think there's tons of players that a lot of teams have already started building their rosters around. I mean, you look at Denver and the way Pat Surtain has been able to just ball out to this degree this fast is beyond insane. And I think
Yeah.
cornerback right now, especially with how the passing game has evolved, is one of the most important positions on the field. Now, at the same time, you saw last season the running back kind of come back. And I think that helps out these cornerbacks a little bit more, which kind of brings you more back to the middle linebacker position. At the same time, there's not really a lot of stud middle linebackers across the league. So then I also go to defensive tackle position. Chris Jones, I think, even at the age he is right now, I think he's 29 going into this next season. I would still build a team around Chris Jones. And I think the Chiefs did that and then added Patrick Mahomes to build around on the offense, too. And you got phenomenal. Chris Jones is a guy that I think if you put him on this Bears team right now, he automatically makes them an NFC championship contender.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
definitely one of those dudes, man. He has the resume, and I mean, you don't often see a guy like sit out and then ball right away. Like they
Right.
never do. Like it takes them a few weeks. He did.
Maybe like
Like
Trent Williams is the last guy that I can think of that did that.
right. And
Better.
it's like
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, dude, I literally like remember watching the first week, or was it 2 years ago when he was like in the stands during the game, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is he doing? Like he's not playing and he's watching in the stand. Like it's crazy. And then like the 4 weeks later, they signed him and he was a stud. He never missed a beat. Like it's like, yeah, the dude's absolute freak. Like I agree with you there. I mean, I definitely think too. I don't know attitude wise. I heard he's obviously stories nothing but good or bad things, but Jalen Carter is a stud as well. Like that guy, like honestly, like from what I've seen, every time I've watched Jalen Carter play, like I've watched a few Eagles games last year, and the dude was a monster. Like he was not the stats aren't like holy shit, but it's like, dude, he's in the guy's face every play, like every single play.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's a monster. So I don't know. I agree with you there, like with corner too. Like that's insane position right now. I do think the one guy, because I was at first, Alex, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like nobody on the Bears, but Jalen Johnson probably would be the one. Like because Jalen, I have Jalen honestly up there as a top three corner. Like the dude's a baller. Like especially when they're gonna be the other guys are pulling their weight. Like he's gonna be good.
I can see that. I think Jalen Johnson is a guy that the Bears have kind of used as that cornerstone player so far, at least through this iteration of this team since Justin Fields has gotten in. They've drafted high quarterbacks, but it just hasn't worked out. So you need a guy like Jalen Johnson who's been willing to stick around. I don't think a lot of other guys in his position would be willing to sign the same kind of contract with a team that's as disappointing as the Bears continue to be. I understand it's a lot of money. I understand you become the highest paid quarterback in the league, but also at the same time, you're subjecting yourself to mediocrity season after season. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. I'd rather suck for 2 seasons and then be really good. But this Bears team keeps getting there a little bit and then just falls back down. And at the same time, like that's just something we're so blessed to have a guy like Jalen Johnson want to be a part of this franchise, even though they continue to like try to push him away, it feels like, as much as
Well,
they can, and then still bring him back.
He
well,
was the catalyst behind them firing Eberflus. Like
Thank God.
Jalen Johnson just freaked the fuck out after the Thanksgiving game in the locker room. I don't blame him.
good. Somebody had the balls to do it,
Mhm.
and like honestly, like the value for Jalen Johnson, like his contract, like per year, like when like you said, when you're seeing some of these guys like Sertain and like all these new guys getting like way higher deals, it's like holy shit, like that's one thing I'll give Poles. Like, yeah, he did fuck up with the Swift, like the contract, but like his contracts, he hit it on the head with Jalen Johnson, hit it on the head with DJ Moore, because DJ Moore's locked up for like the next 6 seasons at like a solid 23 mil, 24 mil. Like these guys, Jamar Chase is gonna be making what 45? And yeah, he's not Jamar Chase, but still, I would much rather have two DJ Moores than one Jamar Chase. Like, but that's just me. Like,
I think so. But at the same time, like DJ Moore is a phenomenal player. But like I had mentioned earlier, there's times where he just chooses not to play. Jamar Chase, there's moments where like he's not giving 100% effort and he's still one of the best players on the field by far. I don't know if DJ Moore really gives you that. I understand that having two DJ Moores would be phenomenal, but right, we have one DJ Moore. And having a guy like Jamar Chase versus a DJ Moore, I know the gap isn't that big, but at the same time, Jamar Chase is just Jamar Chase. If you were to tell me that I could trade DJ Moore and a first round pick for Jamar Chase, I think I would do it.
I'd do
yeah, well, no, I'm not gonna lie, I would definitely do that too. But the thing is, though, is like, and I'm truly like, if DJ Moore shows this year that like there's some plays where he's taking off or he shows pissed, like I will be right there with you. But I think I can't judge him after because his first year, even here with the Bears, he was a monster. He was making
Right.
plays. He was like, holy shit, like this guy's amazing. And I think DJ knew, like these guys know, obviously, like they know a little bit more than like the average person. Like they're there, they see it, like they're literally witnessing it. They knew that team knew Eberflus was a fucking idiot 2 years, like two
Right.
weeks after they hired him, but we didn't know right away, but they did. And it's like, I think when you're DJ Moore and you're on a sinking ship, it's kind of hard and yes, to your point, that's when leaders should step up and be like, it's going to get better. Like, I do discredit them for that. But at the same time, it is hard when it's like, okay, like all you ever hear is the Bears don't do things right. And we currently have a coach that's a fucking idiot. So it's like it's hard to get I could see where the motivation like was a little down. You know what I mean? Like yes, we always have had high hopes of like getting guys, getting coaches, but they never do. And it's like I think now, like we said before, that they finally got their guy, the guy they wanted. Like think he's going to be a lot more like DJ Moore we're used to this year. Like, hopefully, if he's like last year, then fuck. Like, I'm wrong. I'm going to eat my
Right.
words right now, and he's going to make me look an asshole. But still, like, I think he'll ball this year. I think he's going to come back on.
All right, boys. I think we got to wrap it up here. Before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you guys after the first couple waves of free agency, after the NFL draft, how would you grade this Bears offseason compared to the other NFC North teams right now? Before any more free agent signings are made, before any other UDFAs are signed, what would you grade this team?
I mean, it's definitely the best out of the NFC North. I mean, the Vikings
Absolutely.
are a close second just because, they got Kelly, they got Fries, they made some good moves. But I think it was better than the Lions, the Packers, and the Packers don't do much in the offseason. They draft, they develop players. That's what they do. They're not going to sign free agents. But I'd give it an overall B plus. I would have given it a little higher if we, got another edge rusher in the draft. I wanted that. Wanted Mike Green. I would have liked to add another legit running back, but it is what it is. We fortified the interior offensive line. We left out left tackle, but who knows? Maybe Braxton finally gets some good coaching, learns how to anchor, and we're fine there. So yeah, overall, I'd give it a B plus.
Yeah, I would say I was actually kind of thinking B plus too, like around B, because it's like clearly, definitely, like you guys said. I mean, hands down the best in our division. But, the Lions, it seems like they had one of the worst off seasons in a long time. Like, I mean, like they lost their coach, their every assistant coach, like they're, a lot of guys. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't think that they got better. They didn't improve. The Bears definitely did hit on parts they did, offensive line. That alone, like, I think that they were A plus because we had the worst to bringing in a guy like Joe Thuney. Like, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, or center, like all these guys are going to be great. So I don't know. I'm excited. Just underwhelmed a little bit. So hopefully, we got a lot of guys, but let's see what they do. Like that they all work together. So, but what do you think,
That's
Charlie?
exactly where I'm at. I'm right in that same kind of range as you guys. I think I would probably put it more towards like a B minus in my mind. And I only say that because I felt like they got a lot of great talented players. And I'm gonna keep harping on this until I see it all fit together, like you're saying, Nate. But they got a lot of really talented players that I just don't know if they were the biggest need for this team. And I think the interior offensive line, like you guys are saying, that automatically makes it a B for me, probably. I think I'm gonna sit at that B even. But just beyond that, Colson Loveland's awesome. But did we really need a tight end? Luther Burden's awesome. But did we really need a wide receiver? There's other positions that were there that were ready for this team to take. And I understand that they may not have been in love with a lot of these players, like a Donovan Ezeraku who falls in this draft, like a Mike Green, like you're talking about, a Marshall who falls in this draft. I understand that they probably weren't the only ones that weren't in love with these guys, and that's why you pass on them. At the same time, you need that position, and what if they are good? Mike Green led the league and led NCAA in sacks last season. He could be a really valuable player. Give him a shot. So because of that, I think I'd put that at about like a flat B for this team.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. That was a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun moving forward. You guys are listening to Great Locker Room Guys. That is us on Big Chuck. Charlie Houston, I got Alex Sackley, Sakman there, and then Nate Burnsy over there. We're going to keep doing this. I think we're going to try to do one episode a week. We're going to be putting these up on YouTube. We're going to be talking Chicago sports, Bears for the most part, but everything else, if you guys want us to talk about something else, feel free to comment on this video. We're going to be on TikTok, Great Locker Room Guys, on YouTube, Great Locker Room Guys. So check us out on both those platforms. This is going to be a lot of fun. I love doing this with these guys. This is something that I had a lot of fun doing in college. I'm glad we can do it beyond that too.
Absolutely, all right, bro. Me too, boys. Hey, guys, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.